With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Leftovers or the DMV
Number 97.
or house cleaning or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
It was a little creepy. I apologize.
It's alright. I'll let it pass this time.
That's fine. How was your trip?
It was good.
Yeah?
It was long.
I thought catching up on the anxiety was a little funny, if I might.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Thanks for that. You know, not only did I travel through one airport by myself, I had to go through 3.
To get the...
Yeah.
Where does your mom live?
California.
Well, how the fuck?
Listen, I don't know. They're like, we're gonna, send you from here to Denver, let you chill out there for 3.5 hours. Then we'll give you a 45-minute flight into Ontario. How about that?
Isn't into where?
Ontario, California.
Oh.
No, not Canada.
I was like,
I know
that feels a little out of the way.
I know I'm bad at
There's an Ontario, Cali?
Yeah, well, a little bit north of there. Travel up to 15.
Okay.
Go to the dirt. Then you'll find us.
Sure. Fucking the whole flight from here to Cali is like 45 minutes.
Yeah, an hour and 25 minutes.
So what happened?
They wanted like $800 and something to go one way, and I'm like...
So this is what happens when you pay for the cheap flights. You get a bunch of
Basically.
fucking layover and shit like that.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't have $800 and something to, spend on a one-way flight. And I also didn't want to drive because I work overnight. So I got off at 5. I'm like, I'm not going to drive 6 hours. Who knows? I probably would have never made it.
6 hours, really?
After being up all night?
Well, is that what it is from here to your mom?
I can get there in 4.5.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
I was trying to,
It's like 6 hours, really? Come on.
4.5.
Yeah.
5 if there's traffic.
I've done it faster in traffic. Well, that's good. Got over some fears. Did your thing.
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Traveling alone is a...
So, I'm like, how do I explain it? When I was with my ex for the 6 years, I became very codependent because I was not allowed to go and do anything. So, like, before I got with him in the very beginning of the relationship, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go do this by myself. Yeah, towards the end, I was like having troubles. Like, I couldn't go to the grocery store by myself. I couldn't go to the gas station by myself. Like,
I can see it. After 6 years,
yeah,
you kind of grow close to somebody.
Well, it wasn't by choice. That's the thing.
Oh,
yeah, he was just
son of a bitch.
Yeah, a little son of a bitch. He was a little controlling.
That's not what I was saying, but that works.
It fits.
Yeah. He was a little son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Brittany's been helping me with we call them exercises. She's like, here's the list. Go to the grocery store. Don't come back unless you have everything. And don't call me. Not that rude, but,
No, yeah.
Helps me.
Was that her way of saying get the fuck over it?
Yeah. She's like, we're going to get you back to being independent because I'm tired of going places with you.
Oh. Glad she was nice about it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Maybe the first couple times. After that, she's like, I'm not going.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a good trip.
Yeah. Towards the end, I was like, I needed to go. Me and my grandma, me and my grandpa. we were butting heads. Me and my grandma are the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So our attitude and stubbornness, and if someone's not listening to us, we both get loud because we think that they can't hear us. So we're like, it was great. We were in the hospital room at the second hospital because my mom got discharged, and then we ended up having to call the ambulance to come and get her. And we're going back and forth, and it was a whole bunch of things with, like, insurance and all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, I'm just going to call. I'm like, first of all, love you to death, but people really can't understand you. You have a very strong accent.
What's it? What is it?
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Damn, I did not see that coming.
I know, crazy, right?
Yeah.
They're like, wait, what?
Having a hard time not laughing about it. I can hear it in my head.
Yeah. So we're going back and forth, and she's like, why don't you just let me do it? And I'm like, why don't you just let me do it? Like, you don't understand. Like, what are you going to do? Call the people and be like, oh, this is what's going on? They're not going to understand you. And she's like, oh, yeah, okay, you're right. You're right. Go ahead. You do it. I'm like, thanks.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But, yeah. I'm just glad to be home.
Yeah.
I didn't think I wanted to come back to work so quickly, but...
No shit, right? Back to ground zero. Fuck.
Right?
Well, it's been, as always, interesting week. Nothing crazy at work.
Nothing?
No.
Are you sure?
No. Just a lot of general accidents.
Oh.
People running into shit in the morning, you know? Everybody's in such a hurry to get to work, you know? They just got to run into each other. Then everybody's standing around like, well, what the fuck? It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, it's 30 degrees out here, and you guys want to do this?
Like, it's a little chilly for me.
I'm going to use the brake pedal, not the gas. I don't know about you. On a comedic note, this morning, I was picking up an accident at 6:45 while it was 35 degrees. And, well, I bent over to pick up some trash, and the ass of my pants decided to go. I felt it the first time. I kind of, like, realized what just happened. Didn't acknowledge it. Kept cleaning up. Did my thing. Bent over again. Felt it get worse. Extremely worse. And then, shortly following, a very cold breeze. Well, I'm glad I'm wearing long boxers today. Doesn't help the heat, but it's cold.
At least it was cold and you felt it. It was, you know.
I had to take off one of my jackets and put it around my waist. And the cop that was on scene was like, oh, I thought you were just bringing it back. I'm like, no, dickhead. No, I'm covering my ass from traffic.
Why did I just picture, like, right now, like, you know, back in, like, the 90s? When
exactly.
It was cool to have the hoodie tied around your waist.
So, I had my hoodie on still. I had my Carhartt tied around my waist, which was even weirder because it's a brown Carhartt. So, people are probably like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Who are they sending to come help us?
Who gave him the broom today? And why is he in the middle of the road? Yeah, I had to go to Walmart today. Do a little trip after the cleanup. Everybody thought it was a great time.
Well,
it was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Except for showing my ass to traffic. Whatever. Moving forward. Something I did kind of want to talk to you about. Talk in general about, not to you. Like this isn't business. There seems to be, at least that I've observed anyway, this weird kind of like trend. If you notice in your life, there will be situations that you try actively to avoid. You can use that as broad as you want.
Okay.
There will be situations that you try to avoid, and you can get away with it for some point in time. But don't certain situations seem to find their way back?
Yes. But, so, I seen this post, and it says, so, everybody tells me I'm crazy. I'm very much into, like, energy. Like, positive energy.
You are?
I am.
Oh, that's perfect, because that's exactly what I'm dabbling in.
Yeah. Like, my sister makes fun of me because, you know, I carry crystals with me, that type of thing.
Oh, yeah, I think we have talked about that a little bit.
I think maybe.
Yeah.
But I had seen this post, and it's basically saying the universe is going to continue to give you the same situation in different forms, I guess. Because for you to overcome it.
That was my following question.
Like, did that make sense the way I said it?
No, it totally makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah, I have conflicts in my head about what and this is going to be different for everybody. Excuse me, I don't know where that came from. Didn't mean to growl at you. I'm conflicted some of the time because I feel like I'm not sure. Like some of the situations that I'm proposed with, I really honestly want no part in.
So I found the correct verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The universe is going to give you the exact same lesson in different versions over again until you master it. This is one of the most single important laws you can learn about nature of reality. Everything else builds upon this.
Fuck that. That sounds like a lot of work. God damn it. It's a whole fucking level. It's something to think about, and you really have to pay attention to what you're doing, you know, to see these things get thrown at you. Well, I mean, you do, but you don't. If you notice that these things come at you multiple times,
I feel like a lot of times we turn a blind eye.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at is our defense is to just brush it off, you know.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's shit.
Yeah. I would say that was probably my motto for those 6 years. That was my motto. It is what it is. I don't want to fight about it.
Yeah. And me and Zach talked a little bit about bottling stuff up while he was here and how potentially damaging that shit can be. Because as much as nobody likes to admit it, that is the worst possible outcome.
So when I was younger, I want to say it was probably, I was in high school. I don't know, maybe like 16-ish. I always bottled everything up. I had an issue. I wouldn't talk about it. Oddly enough, because I talk a lot. I never talked when I was younger. Like, I was just like, nope, keep it to myself. And I remember, I don't know what I was getting in trouble for, but they were like, well, just talk to me about it. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. They're like, well, how are you feeling? I'm like, I feel nothing. I'm numb. And they kept like pushing and pushing and pushing, and I lost my shit. I started screaming and yelling. I was so upset that I got a bloody nose. Like, I was that mad.
Damn.
And I may or may not have almost punched a couple holes into the wall because it just like exploded. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? Where's this coming from? And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm crying because, you know, last week I wanted, you know, the last soda and it was gone. Like, I exploded, like.
And it's so incoherent.
Yeah, and I'm like, why am I even crying? Like,
right.
What? This makes no sense on what we're even, the situation at hand.
It's so perfect that you're bringing this up as at the first sense of bringing this conversation up, because we said the exact same thing, and it bears true. You know, every single person has this experience to some degree, and it just becomes some kind of incoherent outburst of tears, anger, jumbled up shit.
I think that's just a part of growing, though.
Growing up?
Yes.
I would say that it's definitely a part of that.
Honestly, I feel like it's a...
But I've seen it happen to grown-ass adults time and time again.
Are all adults grown, though?
Yeah, that's fucked up. We're not getting into that conversation.
I mean, essentially, like, they're not. So it's like...
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a psychological... I don't want to say milestone, but like...
Well, I guess you could also kind of dabble in... As people get older, they kind of learn not to. That is also something I have observed is, you know, as people start growing and getting older and into their 30s, past their 40s, blah, 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 there's not a whole lot of bottling up going on. And I think everybody kind of grows in that same nature for the most part. So you might be right on that. Maybe it is just a part of growing.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. But back to the original situation.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It's just something I've picked up on recently. It happens like... It kind of like comes in waves. It seems... what's the word for it? It seems out of place when things are too smooth for too long. For me.
Why did, literally on my way over here, me and Brittany were having the same conversation. Like, we call it depression baking. I've never baked so many cookies in a week span as I have since I got back from my vacation. And I just bake the cookies. I don't even want to eat them. I just want to bake them.
Right.
I'm like, here, give them to people. But we were talking about it, and, she goes, are we depressed? I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm like, I know I'm stressed. And she's like, yeah, I could see it. Because, obviously, all the stuff that happened with my mom and her surgery and stuff. And I was just like, I'm super stressed. I'm like, it's an outlet. But it's like, everything was going so good for, like, the past, I don't know, 4 months.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, 3 or 4 months, right?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm like, I'm feeling depressed again. I'm like, and nothing changed. Like, I'm still taking, like, my antidepressants normally. I'm like, I don't know if just, like, the stress level. Work's been really stressful, and I get the luxury of dealing with all the personnel issues because I'm the one that's during shift change. Great stuff. Love it. Love it for me. So I'm like, I just think, like, I can't, I don't know, say, like, associate it or disassociate it, I think is the word I'm
Somewhat,
looking for.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like, gonna, be in this little funk for a little while, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm not gonna decide it, whenever.
It'll pass when it passes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You explaining it that way kind of makes me feel like it might be, well, it might be, now that I'm saying it out loud, it's probably going to be different for every person. Just something I've noticed, over the years. When shit starts going too smooth, you kind of learn to expect, like, oh, there's going to be a speed bump soon.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's a speed bump coming.
And I feel like everybody handles it differently.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, for Brittany, like, I notice, I'm like, if she sleeps a lot, I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm just really tired. And I'm like, are you really okay? She's like, I don't know. Me, I tend to...
It's funny that you guys address it so casually.
I
could totally see it, knowing you both.
I know.
I could totally see it. Are you depressed? Fucking might be a little bit. I'm not really sure.
That's the exact conversation. You want to go... Should we eat something? Well, yeah, do we want to cook? Let's just go get tacos. All right, let's go.
Let's just go.
Yeah, that's literally us. But I feel like I tend to get slightly manic, where I feel like I'm just, like, hyper-focused on something, and I'm like, drop it. Okay, next thing. And I'm like, it drives her insane. She's like, if you're going to start the dishes, finish the dishes. And I'm like, the laundry, I got to take the dogs out for a walk.
Yeah.
She's like, you have dirty dishes with the water running still. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, in my mind, I just think of something, and I'm like, oh, I got to do it. If not, I'm going to lose it.
Squirrel.
Basically.
Well, yeah, I've noticed, it's crazy. I don't understand, and I probably never will, but it's like the universe just throwing challenges for a reason, and then giving you a small break. It's, and this could be definitely perceived as something religious. So, whatever the perception may be for the listeners, do your thing. I don't have one way or the other to explain it, but There's something happening. There's some kind of rhythm.
But then I also think about it. So I'm definitely, I mean, I'm pretty sure you know this, I'm definitely an overthinker. I
think a lot of people are now.
Yeah.
Because I am too.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like, has it always been this way? Or are we more aware and we're like, things are changing? No, maybe it's always been this way, but we were just so blindsided and just, like, focused on other things that we weren't really paying attention to it.
You know, it's fucked up that you say that, because for the longest time, I had this, like, I got super superstitious. Like, every year, right around March and April, I would call it, like, the big three. There's, like, three things that are going to happen in my life that are always, like, the big bangs of the year. And then after that, it's pretty smooth sailing for the rest of the year. But I feel like I kind of, it's one of those things where, like, if you will it hard enough, you're probably going to fuck up somehow.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true or not, but it pisses me off.
Well, and I feel like that has a lot to do with, like the whole energy thing, right? They say if you want something enough, it will manifest in some way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you don't want something, but you're constantly thinking of it and it's in the back of your mind, it's going to happen. And, like, whether you want it to or not, you're subconsciously thinking about it.
If it's in your head, it's on your mind, yeah. And it's always been something trippy to me because it always seems to fucking happen. It's like either like a car accident, fucking broken cell phone, just some dumb shit, but three big enough things to happen for it to be enough turmoil that I got to deal with it for the next 4 months.
Yeah.
And it's always been crazy. I'm like, why? What are we doing here? Why can't I do this shit? That's the one time I could use the savings. Stop.
Right.
But
like, I had different plans for this, but I guess we're gonna fix this.
And it's crazy because we go back to the occasional situation that you haven't necessarily wanted to deal with, and that's kind of like a weird topic, because there are situations that I feel like you shouldn't have to deal with, and then there are situations that you should have to deal with. And I'm referring not necessarily to the ones that you want or that you should have to. Situations that you have placed yourself away from to do better for you. But they still seem to find some way, shape, or form
to find their way back into your life.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if I should perceive that as a test or if I should perceive that as something I need to fix. The better part of me, and like my big heart, always tells me to want to fix it, to think better of whatever the situation is, and to think it's going to work out. But then most of the time it bites me in the ass. So I'm like, so do we just stay silent, or what are we doing here?
Yeah. Like, do I feed into...
Right.
I don't want to say the negativity, but the negativity.
I mean, yeah. If you're in a situation you're trying to avoid, then it's negativity.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I don't know how to perceive it. And this is such a vague topic. Because for every fucking person, it's going to be different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And even just, like, mentioning it, like, even, like, the listeners, like, what I'm thinking, what you're thinking, they'll be like, oh, like, they're thinking of a particular situation, whether, you know. Because that's exactly what happened when you're talking about it right now, and I'm just, like, started thinking about it, and I was like, wait, just stop.
Yeah. There's so much that can be perceived as. Vague example. For me, it's like every once in a great while, I want to. I do like going out sometimes, and every once in a great while, I would like to go out, but not be around people. You know, from certain circles or from.
Oh, okay.
From you just don't want to be around certain people. Not necessarily good friends, but just people that you know.
Okay.
But
I'm not going to lie. When you were describing that right now, all I thought about was, like, you going into the woods by yourself.
I would do that. That sounds fun.
Right?
No,
like...
no, but it seems to be that if I try to venture out in that certain... Maybe you know what? Maybe it's the energy telling me I shouldn't fucking be doing that. You put yourself in these situations, I'm going to put these fuckers right back in front of you.
Yeah. And I think in your mind, okay, like for me, like I sit there and I think about it and like all the time part of me is like, I just want to move home. I want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Like I miss home. And I go out there and I'm like, there's nothing here.
Right.
There's nothing here for me. I mean, my family, obviously, but like career-wise, no. Like even like when my mom was in the hospital, they're like, oh, like, you know, asking what I do, you know, if I live out there, like they were trying to get me to apply, and I'm like, no. And they're like, you know, oh yeah, they pay only $13 an hour starting out. And I'm like, yeah.
In Cali?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that gonna get you?
In the hospital for like lab positions and stuff like that.
You can rent a dumpster for that.
Cardboard box.
Maybe. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not.
Yeah.
It's a little too high class.
Right. But I'm like, I always sit there and I'm like, I want to go back home. I want to go back home. So then, you know, when I go back to visit, my best friend's out there. I see, you know, her kids, you know, all this stuff, and it's like, she's like, oh, let's go out. I'm like, all right, yeah, because I'm thinking like, yeah, that'll be fun. And you know, we go out and I'm like, the same, you know.
You're like, this is exactly
people,
what I fucking remember.
Yeah. I'm like, we've all aged 10 to 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but you guys are all still doing the same thing. And it's like, you're catching up with them. And they're like, oh, yeah, you know, da-da. I'm like, wait, you're still working there?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, they're like, yeah, da-da-da. You know, stuff. And I'm like, in my head, and I'm like, I cannot move back because I don't want to get stuck in, you know.
The same shit.
The same, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and I think about it. I'm like, oh, I miss going out to the clubs and all stuff. And I'm like, I don't like going out. I go out and I'm like, it's 10:30. Can we go now?
It's not nighttime.
Yeah. So I'm like, I think like in our minds we paint a picture of what we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
it doesn't turn out that way.
Nope. Not at all.
Oh, man, that brings up a whole nother topic. It's just like... Fuck, where do I start? It's like... You unfortunately have to separate yourself in order to do the things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds so strange because, like, everybody wants to agree with that. Like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I had to do that. Everybody says that. But then, like, most people that say that...
How many people actually do?
I was going to say, most people that say that are still doing the same bullshit because they're too scared to be uncomfortable for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's such a hard topic because nobody wants to admit it.
They don't. And... I'm trying to think of the words. Like, they say don't get comfortable.
I say don't get comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, like, growing up, my mom's like, my first job.
Yeah.
Okay, I worked in retail. Mom's like, don't get comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
Do not get comfortable here because you're going to end up working retail your entire life.
Oof.
Because that's what happened. Because the area that my mom lives in, you know, you kind of get into the habit of things and you're like, oh, you know, they're going to promote you. Like, I was at my job or the retail job for 3 months and they wanted to move me up. My mom's like,
so if you get comfortable, you're going to be here.
Yeah, that's
basically what you were saying.
Yeah, because my mom was with her company for 26 years.
Yeah.
Before she left and, you know, moved on to a different career. But she was like, don't get comfortable there.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at your life. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, you know, this is my daily routine, this and that. And it's like, well, now all of a sudden 12 years pass and it's like.
Yeah, I'm still doing the same shit.
Yeah. And so I feel like being uncomfortable is a very touchy subject.
Can you read that second one up for me right there on that little whiteboard we talked about? You can't read it. It's my serial killer handwriting.
I'm like, I don't even know what you're pointing at, to be honest.
It
Getting
says,
discouraged?
uncomfy. Build strength.
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I thought that said uncomfy bitches.
Uncomfy bitches. So, I'm glad you...
Leftovers or the DMV
Number 97
or house cleaning or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Dabbled in that because I firmly believe that if you want to do things you've never done, you have to do things you've never done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is uncomfortable as fuck.
Yep.
To step outside your box.
Because honestly, if I would have never moved out here 3 years ago, I would not be in the position I am, working at the hospital, being the management position that I am, and, you know, all this other stuff that even, like, today we had, like, a meeting and they're like, oh, you know, they want to help everybody, like, get their degree and stuff, you know. They're like, you know, do you guys want to get another degree? And I'm like, wait, what?
It's amazing what happens when you water your own grass, right?
Right, yeah. And they're like, yeah, like, we'll pay for it. I'm like, you'll pay for all of it? Like, I don't have to pay for it and you guys don't pay for it? No.
Damn.
Right up front, I'm like, where do I sign up? I'm like, because that's honestly one of the biggest things that discouraged me, is because I'm like, I'm paying off on my first student loans. I'm like, I don't want to get out another one. I'm like, I'll be paying them for the rest of my life.
So you're going to do it?
Yeah, probably. But I have to wait. I think I have to be there like another 5 months or something.
Well, it's easy.
Yeah.
That'll fly by before you know it.
Right? I'm like, blink of an eye.
Next thing you know, it's Christmas again.
Don't tell me that.
Fuck.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
That's crazy, but that's so great. Definitely one of the biggest things I've been trying to focus on the last couple of years is, for one, let me take two steps back. There's a reason. Unfortunately, I've had so many jobs. I'm not going to settle. I don't know why. I've watched everybody else around me, close to me, in my life. I've watched everybody settle and just be comfortable. And everybody's just cool with being comfortable. But for some reason, early on, I decided I'm just not doing it. I'm not settling for shit. I put myself on a mission, and I had to figure it out on my own.
Yep.
So the last couple of years, in addition to not settling, and in addition to always looking for something better, which is kind of like a blessing and a curse. I can really bite you in the ass. Don't do that too much. Was mixing things in that make me happy. Trying to maintain some form of sanity.
Yes.
We can use that word.
Yeah.
And just making sure that I take care of that part. And I've learned very quickly that a little bit of that goes a long way.
Yeah.
When you are working your ass off to get places you want to be, you have to dabble in a little bit of what makes you okay.
Yeah, because if not, then you're going to end up in a really dark place.
I started finding myself kind of headed down that routine road of just work, home, work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I saw it like almost immediately, and I fucking was like, I panicked.
Yeah.
I panicked hard, and that probably might be why there's two trucks out there.
It's okay. We don't got to talk about it.
Oh, that was an impulse. I like it, though. Anyway, you get the point. I've seen so many people fall into that in so many different ways, and I just, you don't want it, you don't need it. Unless you are really, truly happy and okay with doing that. Because I do know people who express that joy as well. They say, I'm cool with this. This is all I need. I'm a simple liver. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, do your thing then.
Like, everybody is different. I mean.
Yeah, then you always go back to that.
I'm like, because, like, some people are like, oh, that's what they strive for. And I'm like, not, like, you know, how you're saying, like, nope, not me. Like, I need, like, impulse. Like, you know, I don't know how many times I'm like, I'm feeling a little numb. Let's go get a new tattoo or piercing.
Yeah,
you know?
shake it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
That's how I ended up with my lip piercing.
Well, do you regret it?
Actually, no. Surprisingly
no.
It's probably one of my favorite piercings. So, no, I don't regret it. I was thinking about it for a while, and, you know, then you have the one friend that's like, come on, let's just do it. And I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Next thing I know, I have a needle through my lip, and I'm like, this fucking hurts.
Well, this is fuck it for sure.
Yeah. You're like, well, no turning back now.
I guess that's done. Those are some of my favorite moments, though, to be honest with you. kind of take joy in those random ass fuck it moments.
Oh yeah.
As long as they don't cost a bunch of money. You gotta regret those a little bit. No, I'm kidding. I think that shit's important though. It keeps you alive.
Yeah, because then I also feel like that's where your outlet is.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when I was working and like with my ex, but I literally
You worked with him?
No. Well, no, I didn't work with him.
Oh God.
But for a short amount of time, we did share a car. So he would drop me off at work.
Mm-hmm.
He would take my car. We would work. He would pick me up, and we would drive home. That hour drive was just because it was all streets.
It's painful.
Yes, and I'm just like, and he's like getting frustrated. I'm like, just shut up already, please. Like, I can't handle this. Cause I'm like, work. But it's like, I lost myself because, like, at work, I wasn't Jade. They're like, oh, go talk to Lab. I was Lab.
Oh God.
Oh, the Lab girl. I'm like, hi, I have a name. Nope, the Lab girl.
Nope.
That's what it was. And then it's like, even like if we were to go out, like, or do anything, it was like, oh, like, this, like, he'd be like, oh, this is my girl. So I'm like, once again, he didn't call me by name. So I'm like, I felt like I kind of like lost myself. And it's like, okay, so I'm like doing all this stuff and like.
Fell right into that routine.
Yeah. And I'm like, are you like, I'm like, I'm not a housewife. Sure feels like it, but damn. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't do anything for myself, and I was miserable.
Yep. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Especially in that situation,
Oh, yeah.
Both parties have to be willing and absolutely okay with it. But
and then even with the whole work thing, like how you were saying, work and home, work and home, work and home.
It's
like,
so easy to fall into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I shouldn't compare industries, but when you're dealing with 12-hour shifts, such as you and I, it's even easier because you only have a certain amount of time to come home and get shit done.
Oh, yeah.
And it really just makes it that much easier to fall into that shit, just like every episode, I have to pee, so we're going to pause.
It wouldn't be an episode without it.
My
right?
listeners are going to learn how routine this is because I have a gerbil bladder, and we'll be right back, folks. And we're back. Thanks to Tiny Bladder over here. I'm okay now. So we were talking a little bit about avoiding the routine and falling into kind of like a depression state, which is super easy to do, especially in this day and age.
Oh, yeah.
So do you yourself have a routine breaker, so to speak? Or are we not there yet?
To, like, break me out of my little depression?
Yeah.
So I want to say yes, but then also I want to say no. I would just say self-care, for one, honestly helps me. Like, I'm not, like, fixating on all these things, like, some people may call me just high maintenance, but I'm like, I personally don't think that I am. But, like, little things make me feel better. Like, I rarely wear makeup because, for one, I'm too lazy. That's like a whole 2-hour mission. Like, nobody got time for that. So I'm like, I'll get my lashes done. So I'm like, every 2 weeks I go and get them filled. I'm like, it just makes me feel better. And I'm like, okay, it's relaxing where I'm like, I don't have to think about anything because literally I'm laying there and she's like, gluing things to my eyes. So can't really do anything. It's a moment where I can sit there and, like, I'm not asleep, but I can, like, just rest.
And you're going to enjoy the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's... I mean, I think it's so funny to me to think about it now because, like, you say the word high maintenance, and I completely understand what you're talking about because that's what people consider, the high maintenance thing is like your nails did, your hair
I'm
did.
Like, I just like
fucking...
nice things. I work for my money and I want to enjoy it.
But I'm like, I'm high maintenance too. If you knew the shit that I wanted for one of my trucks, bruh, I bet you I can outweigh your bill right now.
Probably.
So that's my version of high maintenance, and that's what keeps my mind off shit.
It's
self-care.
Yes.
And I think everybody, we're going to use the wrong word here, but everybody has a vice.
Yes.
Just don't use drugs or alcohol, kids. As your vice. As your vice. But I think that should be, I mean, it's not, it should be, it's standard, you know? Everybody has something that you can really decompress on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's super important.
I agree. And, like, when I go to, like, you know, when I go see the lady who does my lashes, or when I go see the lady who does my hair, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them very often, so we get to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, you know, my lash lady, she has, 3 kids, and, I think she's a PE teacher, and, all this other stuff. So I'm like, she'll tell me about stuff that's going on. She, like, asks how work is. So I'm like, it's a conversation that I don't get to have, like, on a daily basis. And it's like, oh, like, how, like, what's been going on since last time I saw you? Like,
it's almost like kind of a weird form of therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
You can decompress, let out your shit, and just you get to move on after.
And then, even though I see, my hair lady and my lash lady often, they could be telling me about something, and I'm like, I have no clue who this person is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a third party, unbiased. So if I have something to say, I'm like, I don't know them, so,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that should, that does, it's not that it should, it goes in all directions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important. It's more important than people give it credit.
Yeah.
So, and what's even crazier about it when you start throwing other people into the mix, like you just said, your lash lady,
mm-hmm.
When you find some form of connection in some random person that you can just word vomit
mm-hmm.
all your fucking needs,
yeah,
and then just walk out like nothing just happened.
Yeah.
Like you didn't just have a breakdown,
right? And even sometimes, like, you find a common, like, interest,
right?
Like, me and her, we listen to a lot of the same podcasts, like true crime, murders.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to it. She'd be like, did you hear that one? I'm like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. Did you know that he actually did, and it just kind of goes back and forth, and it's a conversation that I feel comfortable having with her. Because if I were to have a conversation with some random person off the street about murders, they'd be like, let me get away from you because I don't want to be your next victim,
Yo, you got a problem. No, I think it's super interesting that throughout interactions that we go through, you find such a strong connection with such random people.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind because I'll have great interactions with some people throughout the day, and I feel like I could be, just as a tow truck driver, I get to pick people up all day, and there's
mm-hmm.
some people that get in my truck that I'm like, well, you just want to come hang out? And then there's other people I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And it just like blows my mind. Diversity is amazing, and
mm-hmm.
and energy, and you can feel people for what they are.
Oh yeah. And
being able to connect on such a weird level. Like there's a good friend of mine, we carpool every day. He has a weird way of saying things that are in my head. This hasn't happened like 1 or 2 times. No, this happens like every other day. And I don't know what it is.
You spend too much. I'm not in a bad way, but you spend so much time together. Like me and Brittany.
Yeah.
Like we'll be sitting there and we look at each other and we'll say the exact same thing and like get out of my head.
100%.
It freaks people out, honestly, and
we are 2 very different people.
Yeah.
But there's also times that people have told us that we are the exact same, and I'm like, how?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so much more of an asshole than he is. His eyes are so kind. But I don't know. The connection you can have with a completely different individual is mind-boggling to me,
yeah.
Especially somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool. So I don't know how to expand on that other than not crying about it.
But I also feel like that also has something to do with you know how they say, like, if you hang around with somebody, you start to pick up on like their mannerisms and their like.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Like things that they say or how they say things and stuff like that. I feel like
that happens when you're involved in a relationship with somebody.
Yeah, but also not necessarily just a relationship, but like friendships and coworkers and just stuff like that. Because oddly enough, like me and Brittany, like we grew up together.
Do you guys work together?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I'd be able to work with her and live with her. Like, love you dearly, but just leave me alone. Yeah. Even there sometimes, she's like, she just looks at me. I'm like, am I being annoying? She's like, yeah. What else do you need from me? And I'm like, nothing. I'll go away now. She's like, thanks.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I'm like, and we only interact maybe 15 minutes a day. Because, I mean, our shifts are different. So by the time I'm getting up at like, I don't know. I want to say 5:45, but in all reality, I don't get up till 6:15. You know, she's barely getting home from work. She's making herself dinner. And I'm like, you know, trying to find my scrubs to make sure, like, my
you guys
socks
work
match.
2 completely different shifts.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just cut on to that.
Yeah, she works 6 to 4:30-ish.
Isn't she a nurse or something, too?
She's a pharmacy tech.
Oh.
Yeah, she gets to play with drugs.
That's what Jace does.
Yeah, they went to school together.
Did they?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
They used to carpool all the way to Buckeye.
The more you know. Jace, if you're listening, you're next, buddy. I'm coming for you. I just want you to know that, big guy.
We're all waiting.
He's going to be an interesting character to listen to. Mm-hmm. But
just when he talks in general, I'm like, I never thought of it that way. Or with the way he words things.
Yeah, he's so enthusiastic about everything.
Yeah.
But anyway. Little tangent there. Sorry about that, bud. Yeah, no, it's crazy the amount of interaction. You know, it's with every relationship, you have a different amount of interaction time that you require. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You ever met some people like you want to be around all the time, and then there's other people you're like, I fucking love you, but not right now.
You're like, your 10 minutes for the week is up.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Well, that's how it is with my buddy that I was telling you about. In the morning. Mm-hmm. He talks. On the way to work, he wants to talk. And I'm like, dude.
It's too early.
Don't breathe another word. And he knows better now. And so it's super funny. Everybody knows I'm grumpy until I have coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's something super funny I've found. But there's also some people that I would bear to listen to in the morning. I
think I might be that person. So for at work, you know, my shift starts at 7:30. So I come in, give me about 30 minutes to get my life in order, you know, figure out which way is up, which way is down, you know, what's going on for the day, you know, talk to my staff. And then, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning comes around, and that's when day shift comes in. I'm like, hey, good morning, guys. And they're like,
day shift comes in at what?
Between 2:30 and 3:30.
Day shift comes in at 2:30, 3:30?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because they want to do the morning run before the doctors come in and do their rounds so they can, you know, discharge patients and treat them for whatever they need to be treated for. So the morning run in the hospital, you know, if you're ever in the hospital, they'll probably be there about 2 o'clock in the morning and be like,
you know what, that makes sense because they always wake you up.
Oh, yeah.
Right when you fucking fall asleep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, get me rolling on that one.
They're like, I just fell asleep. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. I have to get some blood work from you. They're
I'm
like,
here for the day shift. We have to run new tests on you now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, bitch, is it dark out?
Yeah. They're like, they just drew blood. I'm like, unfortunately, that was before midnight. We're after midnight now, so now it's a new day.
Now we're going to have to go run a whole new x-ray on you.
Yeah. They just look at me like, are you kidding me?
God, I miss going to the hospital so much.
Like, sorry. I'm not going to lie. Those are my favorite ones to poke, too. Just because they're grumpy, and I'm like...
Everybody's half awake.
Little extra jab. I'm just kidding.
Great.
I'm just kidding.
But, you bleeding out, bitch.
But no, I definitely feel like I'm that person. I'm like, hey, good morning, guys. And they're like, hi.
Well, you like to talk in the morning?
Well, no, but I have to make myself...
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I do like to talk. I just talk a lot in general, obviously. But, you know, I just try to be like, just be polite and say hello. Like, hey, do you need anything? No. All right, cool.
I am so fraudulent in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
If I have to be, I am so fraudulent. It's barely acceptable. It's a good thing I work with the cops and people who just got in an accident.
Yeah.
Because I don't want... This dude tried to talk to me this morning after he just crashed his car. He's like, oh, you only brought a flatbed today, huh? I was like, yeah. What do you want? Oh, yeah, just...
Or like even like.
Is it gonna turn? Do you need help? I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of the road. What are you doing? It's cold.
Let me do my job.
Yeah, I just woke up from a nap, sir. Get the fuck out of the road.
I'm not friendly yet.
I literally go to work and go to sleep and hope for a nap.
Oh, that's nice.
I go get in my tow truck, start it up, which sucked this morning because it didn't get warm for half an hour.
Did it not get warm, or was it because of your ripped pants?
The ripped pants were after the nap.
Oh, so you were really cold then at that point.
Super cold. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm a non-talker in the morning. I don't want humanity to notice me for the first 3 hours I'm alive.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how that works and we just accept it?
Yeah.
We just know like certain people.
They're not a morning person. Just leave them alone.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like nobody's super upset about it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to wonder about other people. I'm going to have to start asking questions around the family.
I feel like you can just tell by the, like, just not tell by the way they look, but just like, you know, some people are just very chipper. And I'm like, you wake up this way, don't you?
My dad raised me so hard to not make fucking noise when people are sleeping. Mm. So I try to be super quiet. Even when it's just me, I try to be super quiet in the morning. And then, like, I lived with my brother Dustin, who was on here. Mm-hmm. I lived with him for a while. He has not a single fuck to give about who's sleeping. All the lights are on. Every single cabinet is slabbed. The fridge.
If you weren't awake then, you are now.
Oh, yeah. I used to get up with him. Not by choice.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a tangent for another time, I think.
I remember, like, being in high school. You know, it's summer break.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're like, oh, you stay up till, like, 5 o'clock in the morning and then, you know, fall asleep on the couch. 5:45, all of a sudden the blender starts going off. The coffee maker's going off. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Are you fucking serious right now?
Right. It's like, good morning. I'm like, it's not.
It's not. Who the hell said it was good?
I'm like, technically, I just went to sleep 45 minutes ago. It's still my night.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad there's a lot of people that relate with me on that one because I am not a good waker-upper. Mm. And my phone goes off like 7 times before I get up.
Yeah, I have probably like 4 or 5 alarms. And they're all like super obnoxious. And I'm like, oh, somehow I keep, you know, hitting snooze. And they eventually line up and all 5 alarms are going off at the same time. And I'm like, okay, this is my sign. I have to get up now. Yeah,
I check the time and I definitely snooze more than I should. Because I know it only takes me 6 minutes to get out the door. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, just throw on some scrubs, put, you know, my socks. I'm like, I don't need, I have protein shakes at work. I'll just eat, you know, drink one of those when I get there.
Yep.
But I think my biggest, like, I don't say issue. Oh, no, it is an issue. It very much is an issue. It's like,
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I'm like, my OCD might kick in a little bit. And I'll, like, you know, for instance, like, I wake up at 6. I'm going to say 6:15, okay? I'm like, oh, it's 6:12. I have 3 more minutes until I have to get up. Like, that's my mindset, and I don't know why. So I'll be like, you know, my sister's like, it's 6:15. I'm like, no, it's not. I have 2 minutes.
Yeah, fuck off.
Let me enjoy these last 2 minutes I have, okay?
Why are you still talking?
I don't know why. And it's like, I always have to get up on, like, when the time's either ending, like, a 5 or a 0. Even if I'm running late.
Okay,
I don't know why.
That's a little strange.
Yeah, I'm a little OCD. I'm thinking self-diagnosed.
Self-diagnosed OCD. Isn't it crazy to think about like how we take time for granted as much as we do?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about our instincts and what we came from, do you think sundown to sun up we would really have been playing this game? I'm talking about, like, go all the way back.
Like,
English wasn't a thing.
I was like, are you talking about the cavemen?
Somewhat. Think about your instincts. Are you really going to sleep in when the sun's up? What if something comes up on you?
No, because I feel like your internal clock.
Yeah.
Which, I mean...
And now we're so spoiled. We got this little electronic thing to wake us up.
Right. Like, my internal clock's completely backwards.
Have you ever seen The Mask?
Yes.
Do you remember the scene where where the clock gets smashed?
Oh, yeah.
That's mine. Yeah. She gone.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to think about.
Yeah. Because I do have to say, like, especially on night shift, when I was, I don't want to say depressed, more depressed.
Slightly more depressed.
Just a little. All I wanted to do was sleep. I would come home, I'd sleep. And I'm talking like when I would get home, I was supposed to get off at 6, but most days I don't get off till like 8:30, 9. So I'd get home 9:30, shower, I go to sleep, and don't try to contact me until 6:30. And then I'm up, and like it got like bad. So I'm like, now that I'm a little bit better, like I've been awake since 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I get off work and I'm like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this.
Like right now?
Yeah, like right now. Like I don't know. I'm not good at numbers.
That's
20.
No, it's not.
Hold on, 3 plus 5.
You're like 19
hours.
and 28.
Yeah, it's 8:30 in the afternoon.
I don't do math.
Evening.
Fuck.
My math, actually, scratch that. My math is probably wrong too. Don't listen to whatever I'm saying.
Say 3 o'clock
in the afternoon. Yeah. Oh yeah, so that's definitely over 24 hours.
Yeah, it is. Damn, I am way off. I need to go to bed too, apparently.
Yeah, but like that's how my work weeks end up being. Like Thursdays, I'm up all hours, over 24 hours. Like, you know, I feel like my heart's gonna, you know, jump out of my chest because the amount of caffeine.
It's fine. It's normal.
Yeah, maybe my kidneys might hurt a little bit from, it is what it is.
Technicalities.
Right?
Well, on that solid note, I think maybe we'll say goodnight.
Right.
I didn't plug anything in the beginning like I normally do, but as I always ask, if you can, if you're capable, if you want to, if you're a continued listener, I appreciate you. And feel free, if you're wanting to make a couple of donations towards the new studio. Working hard towards it, and it's going to happen regardless, but you can help, and I'd appreciate your help. The TikTok has been officially completely changed over to Me vs. Me podcast, so check it out. It's dedicated to that. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter coming soon. Check them all out. Any plugs you got?
No.
Shout out to Jason King for talking shit about you. I love you. I'll see you in the morning. He's my boy. He looks just like me, which is creepy.
You're like, just don't talk too much, okay?
Yeah, don't talk tomorrow morning, dude. I will kick you out of the truck.
Sit in silence.
As always, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. And until the next one, good night.
Good night.